Hey dear students, what's up? Hope you all are doing very good. So let's start with class 10th board studies now. We will cover here the Hindi subject. Now in Hindi of 9th standard and 10th standard, there are two courses defined by CBSE. These are course A and course B. Both the courses have different literature. They have both different contents, different books are followed. Course A follows the Kritika and Kshitij series books and course B follows the Sparsh and Sanchayan books. And more or less the grammar portions are same in course A and B. So let's begin with the studies of Sparsh book. Sparsh book has two different parts. These are Gadya Khand and the Padya Khand. Gadya Khands are basically the stories and Padya Khand are the poems, kavitaएं. So today we will start with Sparsh book and we will begin from the Gadya Khand. So in Gadya Khand there is a chapter number 1 with the title BADE BHAI SAHEB. Now the specialty of this video series is that we will cover these chapters of Hindi syllabus in Hindi and also in English. So it will help all the students who are going to give board exams this year. We will cover all the chapters of Sparsh and Sanchayan one by one in different videos and also their question answers from the NCERT textbook along with the important questions from each chapter. So guys, in this video we will be explaining this chapter BADE BHAI SAHEB more in details with the important points in the chapter, the important characters and understanding the summary of the chapter so that we can answer all the questions very well in exams or your regular tests. Okay, so let's begin this BADE BHAI SAHEB chapter explanation in English and in Hindi. So let me tell you first of all about this chapter. There are only two characters in the entire story and they both are brothers. One is elder brother, other is younger. So here the writer is the younger brother who explains about his elder brother. So we are going to see the life of these two brothers in this story. So among these two brothers, who's writing the story? Tell me. Yes, the younger brother, Chota Bhai. Now BADE BHAI SAHEB is one such play that tells a wonderful story of the relationship between two brothers. Okay. Now one is big brother referred as BADE BHAI SAHEB here and the other is younger one, the author of the story. So all the narrations in this story are explained by the younger brother. So these two brothers are staying in the hostel for their studies. They have come from the village with a single purpose to study and become something good. कहानी में एक बड़े भाई साहब हैं, बड़े ब्रदर हैं जो है तो छोटे ही परंतु उनसे एक छोटा भाई भी है. परंतु means but. So students learn this word परंतु, a very commonly used word in Hindi sentences and it makes the sentence very nice. So वे उससे कुछ ही साल बड़े हैं. कौन बड़े हैं? बड़े भाई उससे कुछ ही साल बड़े हैं परंतु उनसे बड़ी बड़ी आशाएं की जाती हैं. आशाएं means hopes. So this elder brother is just few years elder to the younger one. So there are so many hopes from this elder brother that he will take care of himself and his younger brother as well. बड़े होने के कारण वे खुद भी यही चाहते हैं कि वे जो भी करें छोटे भाई के लिए प्रेरणादायक हो. प्रेरणादायक means inspirational. So it means that being the elder, he himself wants that whatever he does, it becomes inspirational to the younger brother, छोटे भाई. इस आदर्श स्थिति को बनाए रखने के कारण बड़े भाई साहब का बचपन अदृश्य अर्थात नष्ट हो गया. So this elder brother has to maintain a ideal situation wherein he is so nice, he is so good, so studious, always studying, getting good knowledge. So he has to maintain that status always so that his younger brother also sees him and follows the same. Now in this line they are saying that to maintain this ideal status, the big brother has also lost his childhood. His childhood has almost kind of destroyed because children are not like that. They are always playful, always naughty. But here, being a big brother, this person has understood that he has a responsibility to make sure that his younger brother follows him. So responsible he is, right? So this is the crux of the entire story, that there is an elder brother and a younger brother. Elder brother always tries that he maintains a very ideal status so that his younger brother also studies well and understands the responsibilities of life and become good. Okay, so before we start understanding the chapter, let's learn about the person who has written it, the author of the chapter. Very famous Indian writer Munshi Premchand has written BADE BHAI SAHEB. Premchand ji. Ji is a respectful word. We use it after the name in Hindi. Now Premchand ji was born on 13th July and the place he was born was Banaras. It is in UP, Lamahi village. And he died on 8th October 1936. Now Premchand is not the real name of this author. His real name is Dhanpat Rai Srivastav. He is better known by his pen name Munshi Premchand. What is pen name, guys? Pen name means an assumed name used by a writer instead of their real name. So normally writers use a different name for writing their novels, stories, publishing the different articles. They use a different name. That name is called as pen name. And he also had a nickname that was Nawab. Okay, so Munshi Premchand was an Indian writer famous for his modern Hindustani literature. He is one of the most celebrated writers of the Indian subcontinent. See, most celebrated writer. He is really very famous and is regarded as one of the foremost Hindi writers of the early 20th century. So you can see that he was so famous that there was a postal ticket in fact made on his picture. That's good. So let's see in Hindi also. इनका मूल नाम धनपत राय था, परंतु इन्होंने उर्दू में नवाब राय और हिंदी में प्रेमचंद नाम से काम किया. मीन्स उर्दू में हिज पेन नेम वाज नवाब राय और हिंदी में हिज पेन नेम वाज प्रेमचंद. और रियल नेम क्या था? मूल नाम मीन्स रियल नेम धनपत राय. ये अपने जीवन काल में ही कथा सम्राट और उपन्यास सम्राट कहे जाने लगे थे. His important works were उपन्यास आदि novels like गोदान, गबन, प्रेमाश्रम, सेवा सदन, निर्मला etc. बड़े भाई साहब by प्रेमचंद. न कहानी के मूल बिंदु. Let's understand the crux of the story, the juice of the story. You must have heard of these lines. Either the parents or the elder siblings, they say, don't eat this, don't sit there, don't play all the time, do study, do this, do that, etc. On hearing this, it comes to the mind of children that if we become big, no one would interrupt us like this. But don't think that getting older gives you the right to do anything. Many times the elders of the house has to withdraw from doing the fun that other boys do at this age, so that he or she can be the inspiration to the younger siblings in whatever they does. So generally the elder child of the house becomes automatically intelligent, responsible, so that he or she can be a good example for the younger ones. So how much ever confused they are, how much ever questions they have, they always have to show to their younger ones that they are perfect. So as already explained that this story is written by the younger brother about his elder brother. He is calling him as Bade Bhaiya. Now in this story, the writer Premchand ji is saying that he was 9 years old and Bhai Saheb was 14 years old. So you have to remember these facts. The elder brother was 14 years old and the younger was 9 years old. So the younger brother tells more about the Bade Bhai, that as Bade Bhai Saheb grows up, he wants to be an inspiration to the younger brother in whatever he does. So Bade Bhai Saheb wanted to lay a strong foundation of knowledge and experience for his younger brother. This elder brother also wanted to play, do all childhood fun, but is not doing that so that his younger brother takes him seriously and becomes a responsible person like him. So the story is about what happens when an elder brother makes himself responsible for his younger brother's studies and teaching him life values. Let's see that. If it is asked that what is the story all about, you have to explain this in Hindi. We will come to the Hindi explanation of this story towards the end. Now, 14 साल के बच्चे द्वारा उठाया गया कदम. 14 साल का कौन है? बड़े भाई हैं. बच्चे द्वारा उठाया गया कदम छोटे भाई के उज्जवल भविष्य की नींव रखता है. उज्जवल मीन्स द ब्राइट फ्यूचर, भविष्य. नींव मीन्स द फाउंडेशन. So the 14 years old child has taken such steps so that his younger brother's future becomes bright. यही आदर्श बड़े भाई को छोटे भाई के सामने और भी ऊंचा बना देते हैं. Now the important point is why are we studying this chapter? In other words, we can say that what learnings we get from the story. इस कहानी से हमें क्या शिक्षा मिलती है. If something is asked like कहानी से क्या शिक्षा मिलती है, you have to give a little bit background about the story in few sentences and then tell what we learn from it. Background you have to write such a way that यह कहानी दो भाइयों पर आधारित है. इसमें एक बड़े भाई है और दूसरे छोटे भाई. बड़े भाई अपने छोटे भाई पर हमेशा पढ़ाई के लिए दबाव बनाए रखते हैं. वे स्वयं भी हर समय पढ़ते रहते हैं. छोटा भाई पढ़ने में कम और खेलने में अधिक ध्यान देता है. इसके बाद भी वह सदा प्रथम आता है और बड़े भाई साहब फेल हो जाते हैं. आखिर में जाकर इस रहस्य का पता चलता है कि बड़े भाई साहब अपनी जिम्मेदारियों के कारण ना चाहते हुए भी प्रत्येक समय पढ़ने का प्रयास करते थे. मीन्स एट द एंड वी गेट टू नो दैट द एल्डर ब्रदर वाज ऑलवेज ट्राइंग टू स्टडी इवन दो ही डजंट वांट इट. ही इज ऑलवेज ट्राइंग टू शो दैट ही इज स्टडीइंग सो दैट हिज यंगर ब्रदर आल्सो does the same. Now, after this, you explain about why are we studying this chapter. Here you have to write, यह कहानी हमें कुछ विषय पर सोचने पर मजबूर करती है. मजबूर means force करती है. This story forces us to think about certain topics. Now these topics are, सर्वप्रथम means first is, हमें पढ़ाई का स्तर इस प्रकार रखना चाहिए कि सदैव हमारी उसमें रुचि बनी रहे. So we have to keep the level of our study such that we always have interest in it. Means doing of some work without interest will not give you results. दूसरे, हमें सारा समय स्कूल की किताबें पढ़ते नहीं रहना चाहिए, कुछ समय खेलने के लिए या फिर कुछ और सीखने के लिए भी निकालना बहुत जरूरी है. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. थर्ड पॉइंट इज हमें बड़ों का आदर करना चाहिए और छोटों के प्रति अपनी जिम्मेदारी को समझना चाहिए. दिस चैप्टर टीचेस अस दैट वी शुड रिस्पेक्ट द एल्डर्स. वी शुड ऑल्सो फील द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टुवर्ड्स द यंगर वंस. नाउ इस पाठ का उद्देश्य और उससे मिलने वाली शिक्षाएं क्या है, मीन्स इस पाठ का एम क्या है और उससे मिलने वाले लेसन क्या है. यह पाठ हमें सीख देता है कि पढ़ाई के साथ साथ खेलकूद को भी महत्व देना चाहिए. मीन्स along with the studies we should also give importance to the play, the sports. That is why our education system has a good balance of studies from the books as well as the sports, the outdoor games or the indoor games, because it gives the student the overall development that he or she needs at that age. यह पाठ हमें सीख देता है कि बड़ों का आदर करना चाहिए, बड़ों को छोटों के प्रति अपनी जिम्मेदारी को समझना चाहिए. So the third lesson which we learn from this chapter is अनुभव और शिक्षा के महत्व को समझना तथा उसे अपने जीवन का उद्देश्य बनाना. अनुभव इज द एक्सपीरियंस एंड एजुकेशन की इम्पोर्टेंस को समझना और उससे अपने जीवन का उद्देश्य बनाना. So the lessons which we learn from this chapter are similar to the reasons why we are studying it. So either if it is asked बड़े भाई साहब पाठ की महत्वता को समझाइए, और it is asked that बड़े भाई साहब पाठ से आपको क्या शिक्षा मिलती है, या बड़े भाई साहब पाठ का क्या उद्देश्य है. So if any of the question is asked, you have to write these points and you can elaborate further depending on the marks. Okay. Now here we have also mentioned the specialities of both the brothers. स्वभाव means their nature. Now if you see here बड़े भाई साहब के स्वभाव की विशेषताएं. So here we have few points. बड़े भाई साहब समझदार थे, अंडरस्टैंडिंग थे. तर्कशील means logical, mainly the rational nature. वो जिम्मेदार थे, रिस्पॉन्सिबल थे. अनुभवशील means एक्सपीरियंस्ड पर्सन थे वो. और क्रोधी थे, क्रोधी मीन्स एंग्री, काइंड ऑफ एंग्री मैन. एंड सजग थे, सो हिज ऑब्जर्विंग पावर वाज गुड. सो ये उनकी विशेषताएं थी, हिज स्पेशलिटीज. सेम वे here it is given a comparison of both of their specialties. यहाँ तो छोटे भाई की स्पेशलिटीज हैं बड़ों का आदर करने वाला, means he used to respect his elders. चंचल, always active, who doesn't want to rest. तीव्र बुद्धि means intelligence. विवेकशील means he used to use his intelligence. and अपनी गलती को मानने वाला, so he was a person who used to accept his fault. So if the question is asked in such a way that दोनों भाइयों के स्वभाव की विशेषताओं की तुलना कीजिए, then you have to elaborate these points. So these are the pointers which will help you in the long answers. So if you know the points and you remember the story, you can write down and elaborate these points further based on the question. Okay, now let's go and understand the story little more in details. Okay, so what happened, the sequencing of the story, so that you know the chapter very well. So first we will learn this story with the English explanation, and then I'll take you to the Hindi summary also. So here the story starts from the writer, means our lekhak, explaining about his elder brother. He tells that his elder brother gives lot of importance to studies all the time. Now Bade Bhai wanted to lay the foundation of his knowledge very strong, on which a strong life could be built. He used to do 1 year of work in 2 years. Now important to note here that he used to do 1 year work in 2 years. Means if he passed a grade in 1 year, he used to take 2 years to pass that grade. Why? Because he wanted to study deeply. He wanted to gain more knowledge from that grade. So he used to study the same subject, same topics 2 times. Sometimes it would have taken even 3 years. He believed that if the foundation itself is not perfect, then how the building would rest long on it. Yes, he is right. That foundation has to be strong, but his approach has to be thought about. Okay. So here author is saying that his Bade Bhai Saheb is 5 years older than him, but in terms of grades, he is only 3 years ahead. So remember this, Bade Bhai Saheb is 5 years older to the younger brother, but in terms of the school grades, he is only 3 grades ahead. So that is where this logic will come in place, that he used to do 1 year of work in 2 years. So he might have taken in some grades to pass 2 years. So when the story was written, Bade Bhai is in 9th standard and I was in 5th standard. I means the lekhak, the story writer. He also started studying at the same age as the writer. But elder brother did not want any hurry in his education. Now Bade Bhai used to believe that he had the right from the birth to scold and take care of the younger brother. So every sibling in the house always believes that they have the right on their younger siblings to take care of them, to scold them and to bring them on the right path. So same way this Bade Bhai also was like that. Now it was the wisdom of the writer, younger brother, to understand his every order as law and obey every command. Now here the younger brother also was very understanding. So he is also very intelligent. So he obeys all his orders and the commands. Now in this paragraph the author is telling about how his elder brother used to study and how he was able to read and study all the time without any play, without going out. So he says that his elder brother, while trying to read, so he used to sit and open the book all the time. So when somebody opens the book for long time, for so many hours only seeing the books, they also will get restless. So they also need some change. So for the change, Bade Bhai Saheb probably used to make pictures of dogs, cat and birds on the edges of the books and copies. So this character shows that he also likes to play around. So now author gives another example from the story that once he saw one article in the copy of his elder brother whose words were like special, Amina, Bhayo, Radheshyam, Shriyut Radheshyam, and the author tried to understand and correlate the meanings between these words. Also a man's face was there. Now there is a muhavra which has come in the story here. It's important, I thought to explain you here. So chota muh badi baat means iska arth means the meaning is छोटे के द्वारा बड़ों के समान बात कहना, मीन्स अपनी हैसियत से बढ़कर बात करना. हैसियत इज स्टेटस, मीन्स व्हेन अ पर्सन विदाउट एनी एक्सपीरियंस और एनी नॉलेज इन द मैटर पुट्स फॉर्थ हिज ओपिनियन. ओके, नाउ व्हेनेवर ऑथर यूज्ड टू कम बैक फ्रॉम प्ले, बड़े भाई साहब फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन वुड हैव बीन वेयर वर यू, कहाँ थे. नाउ देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन आल्सो इन योर टेक्स्ट बुक वेयर इट इज आस्क्ड दैट जब लेखक खेल कूद कर वापस आते थे तो बड़े भाई साहब का उनसे पहला प्रश्न क्या होता था, कि बड़े भाई साहब का पहला प्रश्न होता था कहाँ थे, means where were you. So author says this question was always asked in this voice and the answer was only silence author had. So author has never given any answer to this question. So after this what happened, there was an incident wherein elder brother Bade Bhaiya is explaining the younger brother the importance of English and telling him that learning English is not a fun. So elder brother always used to say that if younger brother will read English in this way, he will not get a single letter in his whole life. So Bade Bhaiya is telling to the younger brother that if you really want to waste your time and your age like this, then better to go back to village. Why are you wasting grandfather's money which he's been putting for us for our studies? Go to village and play there itself. So till here it is very clearly seen that elder brother is always trying to make himself responsible for the younger brother and trying to bring him on the right path of studies. Actually, if you see, Bade Bhai Saheb also used to suppress his desires. Now what would be his desires? He's just in 9th standard. Definitely he will be having desires of playing. So he also wanted to play along with the other kids who are of his same age, but he is suppressing his desires. He told once the younger brother that he likes to watch cricket, hockey matches, but he never goes out to see or play them. He only studies. Okay, next in the story, the author describes the effect of his elder brother scolding on himself. So all the scoldings and all the words what elder brother used to say to the younger brother to scold him and to bring him to the right path, it used to hurt the younger brother. So like Bhai Sahab, he could not work hard and for some time he started thinking miserably, why don't he go back to village? Why should he waste his time by doing the work that is beyond his control? He is not able to work hard like the elder brother. So now the effect of lecture of Bhai Sahab, what happened? The writer quickly made a timetable. He thought that he should also study and work hard and get some good grades. He made a timetable to study. In the timetable, there was no time given for sports. Now let's see author's timetable. So he made up a long timetable right from beginning at the 6 o'clock, that he will wake up at 6 o'clock, washing hands, all the details he is given. He'll do this. He'll do 6 to 8 English studies. He'll do accounts from 8 to 9. He'll study history, then food and school, returning from school, then the resting time. And you can see that there is no time given for the sports or any play. So he made this timetable under the effect of Bade Bhai Saheb because he was scolding him a lot. But do you think the person like Lekhak, the writer, can handle this timetable? The child who always wants to play around, who doesn't like to sit at a place and study, do you think he can follow this as he is written here? What do you say, yes or no? Yes, your answer is right. The writer could not follow this timetable. On the very first day, when he sat down for studies as per the timetable, he saw that outside children are playing. He felt the nice breeze. He felt it is more lively outside than being inside. Making a timetable is a different thing. It is another thing to implement it. So we make so many plans in our life. What is important is how much we implement out of it. So the author started neglecting the timetable on the very first day. So again he gets scolding from Bhai Saheb that you made a timetable but you're not following it up. What is the use of making it? Now the annual exams comes. Both the brothers gives exams and they get the results as well. Now in the results what happens? See here. In the annual examination, Bhai Saheb failed and author passed. Surprisingly, he passed and got the first position. Wow. So the author says, now there was only a gap of 2 years between me and him in terms of the grades. So he's become a kind of proudy now. He says, I would show Bade Bhaiya, look at me, I continued to play with fun and topped the position. Now because Bade Bhai Saheb failed, so Bade Bhai Saheb was sad. So here the author felt that because Bade Bhaiya is sad right now, why should I say him all these things that I continued playing and got first, you failed. So that shows the good property of Chote Bhai. But yes, now the author has some pride on himself and self-esteem is also big. Okay, so next in the story, it is described the difference in the behavior of the writer due to the failure of Bhai Saheb. Now because Bhai Saheb failed in the exam, now author is no longer afraid of the Bade Bhai. He is getting involved in the play, sports as much as he wants because he thinks that Bade Bhai Saheb cannot say him anything now. But Bade Bhai Saheb's general intelligence was very fast. He understood that the writer was no longer afraid of him. So after some time, again in an incident, so here the Bade Bhai Saheb is trying to explain the author that do not have lot of pride because you got first position. Even Ravan had lot of pride, but what happened? Ultimately, he did not survive because of his behavior. So then what happens in the story, Bade Bhai Saheb is describing the difficult studies of his class. So he's trying to explain his younger brother that how difficult are the 9th grade studies. So in the story, he also gives one work to author. He says that write an essay on the punctuality and it should not be less than 4 pages. So now the next year comes and again the annual examination took place. And there was such a coincidence that the writer passed again and Bhai Saheb failed again this time as well. Now you know in the story that writer means the younger brother has really not worked hard this year because he was not afraid of the elder brother at all. But he did not know that how he came first in his class this time too. The author was very surprised and he also knows that brother has worked hard a lot, that too for 2 years in the same class. Now the nature of the big brother had become somewhat soft. He himself felt that he no longer has the authority to scold the writer, means the younger brother. Now the freedom of the writer had increased even more. He was misusing Bhai Saheb's tolerance. He used to feel that his luck is very good. So due to the fear of Bhai Saheb, whatever he used to study till now, that also he has stopped. And now you can see as in the picture here, the younger brother has got a new interest in kite flying. Now still he used to respect the Bhai Saheb and he used to fly the kite only when Bhai Saheb is not watching him. Now we are coming to the end of the story. One day in the evening, the writer was running away from the hostel to catch a kite. Suddenly he came face to face with his brother. So here the Bade Bhai tells the younger brother that the younger brother can never go on the wrong path. Even the elder brother tells the writer that if the writer does not agree, elder brother has all the rights to even slap him, whether he may like it or not. So now that day the author was realizing that he was younger. The author answered his questions with moist eyes that what Bhai Saheb is saying is absolutely correct and his elder brother has all the right to say him all this. So listening this, the Bade Bhai Saheb hugs the writer. Elder brother always does his duty. So at that time, a cut kite passed over the writer. A bunch of boys were running after it. Bhai Saheb was tall. He bounced and grabbed the door of the kite and ran to the hostel without thinking. And the writer was also running behind him. So that's the end of the story. So at the end you see that the younger brother who started having a proud that whether he studies or not will always be first, whatever Bhai Saheb says is of no use. All these feelings of younger brother became wrong when he understood that whatever Bhai Saheb is doing is for him only. So the respect for the elder brother grows more in the heart of younger brother. So that's how the relations happens between the brothers or the siblings. So that was the summary in English. Now let's quickly go through the summary of this chapter in Hindi. Hindi mein पाठ का सारांश. So if you see the chapter here, the story of Bade Bhai Saheb is divided into 3 parts. This is the first part which has been running. Go to the second part here and then comes the third part. So after this third part ends, you have your Prashna Abhyas. So we will do all these question answers also very well in the separate video. We'll upload that video also very soon. And these are the shabd, the difficult words and their meanings. And these words meanings also we have explained with the English meaning. So in case if you're not able to understand from this, you can correlate it with the English word. So as I showed you in the textbook, it is divided into 3 parts. So here the summary is also divided into 3 parts. So this is number 1 part, in which we have described what has been explained in the chapter in a summarized way. You can see here that बड़े भाई साहब का स्वभाव is given here. लेखक के मन के बारे में बताया गया है यहाँ पर. उन्होंने एक टाइम टेबल बनाया, उसके बारे में बताया गया है. So you read it. The entire slide we will run in the end slowly so that you can go through it. Then in the second part it is that बड़े भाई साहब फेल हो गए और लेखक कक्षा में प्रथम आए. He came first in the class. तब बड़े भाई साहब का लेखक पर ज्यादा दबाव ना था. Then it is explained in the chapter कि लेखक की अरुचि पढ़ाई में बनी रही. So his interest in the studies was still not there. Then the third part comes. It is given that again in the final examination बड़े भाई फेल हो गए और लेखक पास हो गए, और लेखक के मन में यह धारणा बन गई कि वे पढ़े या ना पढ़े वो पास हो ही जाएंगे. Whether he studies or not, he'll always pass in the exams. Then he developed a habit of flying the kite. Kawa is the kite. So that incident where the big brother catches the younger brother flying a kite, running behind a kite actually. And at the same time the conversation happens between both of them, because the bade bhai sahab cannot see that in his presence the younger brother gets diverted from his path, doesn't study and wastes his time in the useless things. Okay, so here we comes to the end, where the younger brother understands the elder brother and starts giving him more respect. So here we have an assignment work for all of you. Do this because it is important and it will also summarize your entire chapter learning. So first is you have to write summary of this chapter. Means आपको इस पाठ का सारांश लिखना है हिंदी में in around 200 to 250 words. Because when you write a summary of a chapter, you thoroughly understand it. And second assignment is describe about the characteristics of बड़े भाई साहब. So do this please and read the chapter thoroughly. And if you have any further questions, send in your queries in the comment. Any small or big question, don't hesitate. Ask it over there, because this is your board exam time. You must understand the chapters thoroughly. And avoid by-hearting the answers, because by-hearting doesn't last long. Understand it and try to write your own answers. Hindi is a very simple language. Once you pay attention, you can write very well. And we hope that this chapter's explanation was useful to you. So let us know if this was useful to you. Now, do you want more chapters to be explained in English like this? Let us know that. We will prepare more study material for you. And also let us know how we can improve the things better, which can help you more better way in your board exams. So as I said, we have also given here the word meanings of the Bade Bhai Saheb chapter. All these words are explained in the English as well. So if you're not able to understand from this meaning, you can correlate it with the English meaning of it. Hope it will be useful to you. Now in the end, we will run to the entire slide slowly so that you can make the notes from it, take the snapshot and study it for the revisions. So for a thorough understanding of the chapter, try to watch this explanation again and again so that you learn it very well and you do not forget it when you have to write the answers. So now we will run the slide slowly. You can make the notes. much students for watching this video. Like the video and share it with the other students. Subscribe the channel for more Hindi tutorial videos. Thank you so much. Stay happy. Bye bye.